The forgotten genocide, the Nakba and the endless suffering of Palestinians. Every time conflict erupts in the Middle East, the world's eyes fixate on the most recent sparks, the latest violence, the newest headline, the newest terrorist act. The massacre of October 7, 2023, was immediately condemned worldwide, and Hamas became the refrain of the media and political discourse. But what about the full story? What about the massacre that has been unfolding for over 75 years, the Nakba, the catastrophe of 1948, when over 750,000 Palestinians were forcibly expelled from their homes? Why is it that the true scale of suffering inflicted on the Palestinian people by the Zionist movement and the Israeli state is almost never acknowledged in the global conversation? There is a deliberate silence about the soldiers of the Nakba who, decades later, have come forward to testify about the war crimes and genocidal acts they committed. These are not just allegations, these are confessions that expose a systematic campaign to erase a people, a land, and a history. The mainstream narrative reduces the conflict to a binary of good versus evil, terrorists versus victims, conveniently casting Palestinians as aggressors and the Israeli military as defenders of peace. This narrative obscures the uncomfortable truth: the Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, and the successive governments of Israel have engaged in a decades-long policy of ethnic cleansing, war crimes, and genocide against Palestinians, including innocent women, children, and men trapped in Gaza, a brutal open-air prison. Where is the international outrage for the countless civilians killed since 1948? For the children who have never known a moment of peace, for the families torn apart by indiscriminate bombings and blockades. The world rushes to label Hamas as their bad guys, ignoring the disproportionate power wielded by the Zionist state, the orchestrator of a colonial project that has led to continuous displacement, oppression, and death. The events of October 7, 2023, cannot be viewed in isolation. They are part of a cycle fueled by decades of injustice. The global discourse, however, chooses to ignore this context. Instead, it paints a simplistic picture, allowing the Israeli government to continue its expansion, its occupation, and its siege on Gaza with impunity. The silence on the Nakba and ongoing atrocities is not accidental. It is part of the machinery that sustains the occupation and erases Palestinian suffering from the global conscience. This deliberate ignorance enables genocide to persist under the guise of security and self-defense. It is time to face the facts. The real genocide began in 1948, continues today, and will not end without justice. Until the world acknowledges the Nakba and holds the perpetrators accountable, peace will remain a distant dream, and the cries of Palestinian children will be drowned out by the deafening silence of complicity.